keep your head up. You're not alone. Keep your head up, keep your head up. We're halfway home.
It's time for Your Voices of Hope, a video podcast program that offers straight talk on some of the major issues facing us today: addiction, domestic violence, homelessness, human trafficking, and suicide. But more than that, it's our desire to inspire hope. Now, your host, Michelle Byer.
My guest today has had the most unspeakable things done to her by people that are supposed to protect you from the world and take care of you, and most of all, give you love. Instead, she lived a life of horror. Please welcome to the show, Rita. Hi, Rita. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. Rita, when you reached out to me, because we have a mutual friend, I had interviewed someone that you knew, and she told me that there was somebody I needed to talk to. I had no idea that when I read a brief bit of your story that I was just going to want to be sick to my stomach. And I really, your story should never happen to any human being ever. It shouldn't happen to anybody, anything. So you're 23 years old. I heard a baby in the background. How old is your baby?
He's 7 months old. I think he's about to be 8 months.
Okay. And you're a baby yourself, and you're raising a baby. And one of the things you said to me is that you want to be a good mom and break a chain. Now let's go back and find out what chain we're talking about. We had discussed earlier that your mom, your biological mother, did not want to raise a child, and she pretty much left you at the hospital. Is that correct?
Yes.
And an aunt, which is not an aunt, was raising you?
Yes, I was told that she was a friend of the family.
Okay. But even that aunt got tired of raising you? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So at the age of 8, on Christmas Eve, she drops you off at some stranger's house? And
It was actually her brother's side of the family.
okay. Well, tell us how that went from the best that you can remember.
Living with them.
What led up to it? Do you remember those first 8 years? Was that a good 8 years? You know, with living with your aunt?
I can't say they were very good years. I know I was kind of a trouble child, because, how kids are, they throw fits, but I guess that's how toddlers act in general, but she didn't want to deal with me because I was a handful for her. And, I was told that Evelyn told me that she was going to give me to some woman in Mexico. And she didn't want me to go out there, so she volunteered to keep me.
Evelyn is the foster mom that you ended up living with. Okay.
Yes.
So your aunt brings you over to Evelyn's house on Christmas Eve. And you had said the first year living with these people was a pretty good year. And the way you put this, you said, I got to watch cartoons, I got to eat dinner with them. And to the rest of us, that's pretty normal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
you're supposed to be able to watch TV, cartoons, and eat dinner with the family. So why is that not normal to you?
I wasn't really allowed to do those things after a while. I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I wasn't allowed to really play. I would just play with dirt and rocks, because she would lock me outside most of the day. Um, you know, she would starve us most of the day too. So I would just eat, just grass or, the dog's food or, stay in the barn. So she tried to avoid me. And when I did come across her, that's when she would get crazy and beat me because she was angry about something and she needed to take it out on somebody. I felt like
Now, were there other kids in the house besides you?
after a few years, I forgot what year, but I remember just along the road she adopted 4 other kids. Um,
And
but I wasn't the only one that ran away. Huh?
was she abusive to them?
Certain ones. There was 3 girls and 1 boy. She was abusive to the boy, and her husband was too to him, and they were abusive to the older one named Cynthia. But the other 2, they treated fairly, and they got to do things that the other kids didn't get to do. But I felt like I got the heart of it most of the time because I wouldn't let the other kids get take the rap for anything. I would always I did it, and I would get beat up, and it it was terrible watching the other kids suffer through that. I didn't want them to go through anything like that.
So, one of the things you had said to me is she put poop on your head. Tell me how that, tell me about that.
Okay, so the boy, his name was Chris. um he had a pooping and peeing problem, so he always pooped and peed every morning, or during the day he didn't make it to the bathroom and just poop himself. Well, she didn't let me use the washer or dryer, and I had to wash his clothes. you know I don't know why she did it, but she made me stand out in the back of the house. You know how an air conditioner, it gives off hot heat
Yes.
when it's running? So she
Yes.
made me stand by the air conditioner, and it's hot outside too, and I'm by a hot air conditioner, and she'll put the crotch area where he had pooped on my head and make me stand outside in the heat. And
Ugh.
then after that, she would make me wash his clothes, which was fine to me. I would rather just wash his clothes and have that put on me. And yeah, just be out there all day washing clothes and washing everybody's clothes with the washboard. She had a washer and dryer. She just didn't want to let me use it.
And did neighbors, relative, anybody see this behavior?
There wasn't people around. We lived in the middle of nowhere. So to get to town was like 30 minutes, maybe an hour away.
Okay.
Um, so whenever, I did scream for help, one day, because I got, scared sometimes, and I would try to yell for help, you know. So the only people that were there were farmers, in their tractors, but they don't hear anything, the big machine going on, and
Right.
so yeah, nobody heard him.
You had talked about a lot of abuse, a lot of bruises, scratching, and all this, and going to school. Did the school report any of this?
Um, no, they didn't. I felt everybody knew. Everybody knew. The bus driver, he saw me and Chris get thrown out naked in front of the bus, and that one time where Eddie busted my nose and I had to go on the bus with the bloody nose. And then I got in trouble later because I got blood on the carpet, and so they rubbed my face in it. So they were horrible people. And they were Catholics. They went to church. You know, that's the only time they would ever kind of treat me right, is when they went to church, because they had to show off.
So wait a second. Back this up. You just said that they pushed you out in front of the bus naked.
Well, when the bus pulled up, and you know, just they pushed me out in the house, butt naked, you know, fresh out of the shower, out in the open.
And the bus was coming.
Yeah, the bus just pulling up. She's like, the bus is here, and then slammed the door.
And so were you
And then
supposed to get on the bus naked?
I wouldn't. I would go behind the house, and then she would try to drag me out in the front, and she saw that I did that, and then she'll finally give me clothes. But the bus would already gone, and so I had to stay home. So
This is ludicrous. Who does this?
people.
So, did you ever get on the bus without clothes? I mean, I don't understand what you're supposed to do.
After a while, she started dressing me in guy clothes, like boy clothes. But the boy clothes that she'd get me, they were so tight on me, and it just made me feel uncomfortable all day. And then I would get made fun of at school. People would call me a lesbian, or tell me, that I'm a dyke, or, they would just say things to me that weren't
Right.
appropriate. And
the bus driver saw this, and they did not report this.
no.
That is absolutely disgusting.
He actually, I saw him a month ago in my hometown, because I went to go visit, and he acknowledged that he knew about it, because he said, I would have beat them up for you. And I thought to myself, why didn't you just say something?
Wow, really? I would have hit him. I'm sorry for saying that. I'm not necessarily the most politically correct Jersey girl, even though I live in Ohio. I'm from Jersey, but, I keep my Jersey girl status here. I would have beat the living crap out of him if I were you, for saying that. Oh, I would have. No, well, you didn't. Sorry, you didn't protect me either. Did you? How did that make you feel back then? No one was protecting you. You went to school. Obviously, you had to go to school with bruises, and did they break bones?
They didn't. I felt they only, like, my bones would, like, I would have whelps all over me, but in big knots all over my body, like my bones, and it was just horrible. And she would leave scratches. I don't know if you can see right here, but she would sometimes, when she would belt me, she would get the belt, and instead of belting me on my butt, across the face. So I have all these scars on my face. Well, I don't think you can tell now, because I have makeup on, but
No, I can't.
but yeah, every time I look in the mirror, my scars are right there, and like I'm gonna be reminded of that for the rest of my life.
Okay, so, and hopefully there's no sexual abuse with you. That was just,
Not with me, no, but with someone else. Yeah, it wasn't me though. I witnessed it with my own eyes, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Her husband came into the room, not for just that one night, multiple nights, around 5:30 in the morning. I remember like it was yesterday. He walked into the room. One of the girls are in the bunk bed, and he just gropes her, touches her, and I can't stop staring. Not because because I'm just scared. I don't know what to do. I want to say something, but I'm afraid to say something. Now I felt like I wish I would have said something. I wish I wasn't so scared to say anything. But
you probably would have gotten beat.
But yeah, he did it every night, and I would stay awake because I didn't want him to do it to me. So.
And no one in the family, none of the kids ever told.
The girl told on herself, she was kind of weird. I went up to her and I asked her, I said, hey, do you feel anybody touching you at night? And she broke down crying and I broke down crying and we hugged. But she told on herself. But because I guess when you're in a situation like that, you want to be on their good side. So you'll do anything, to have a cake, have some cake,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So she went and told them that I called him a pervert. But I didn't say nothing. I just hugged her. That's all I did. And asked her, those questions. And she did that. And I guess she got rewarded for that because she got to watch TV, stuff like that. And they blocked me in my room. And they said, how dare I call him a pervert? And she was just in disbelief. And I didn't say nothing. I just held my head down. I just let them talk.
What was the most horrifying thing they did to you? I mean, so far I've heard extremely horrifying, but I'm sure there's worse.
There's a lot of horrifying things.
I'm.
Um,
You had also mentioned being outside in the cold with your bare feet until they were frozen and you couldn't feel them. I'm just.
oh, yeah, she did that. And during the summer, too, you know how gravel gets when it gets hot during,
Yeah.
summer. If you step on it, you're getting, serious burns on your feet. Well, my feet today are messed up because of it now. But, yeah, I usually got burns all over my feet. It was really horrible. But the worst thing she did was let her daughter, they had a pool and they set it up, and her daughter would take me in the pool and hold my head down underneath, under the water. And I couldn't breathe, and I felt like that was the worst thing because I'm scared of drowning now.
Yes. Okay. I totally understand that. Wow. I have had, yes, I've had that. Some people thought it was funny. It's not so funny.
No, it's not funny.
No. Yeah, I remember. I've had that done. So, yeah. Sorry, I could remember. That brings back a little bit of something for me. So, but all right. So now you finally have it took 10 years, but you ran away at the age of 18.
Yes.
Where did you go?
Well, I actually lived on the park for a while.
Did they look
And
for
then,
you?
well, I think they did, but, I was hiding so good, I really didn't want them to find me. I said, I'd rather die than go back there. So, yeah. Because I think I was just on the verge, you know, and I hate to say it, and I'm not like this. I'm not like this, I swear. I'm a good person. But back then, it was survival for me.
Right.
And I felt like if I would have went any further, I would have either murdered her or committed suicide or something. And I felt like sometimes I was close because I was on medication. And ADHD medication, it suppresses your feelings, your emotions. When
Mm-hmm.
I was finally getting off that medication, that's what led to me running away, because I started getting angry at her when she slapped me. I started getting, speaking up a little bit more. I felt angry, too angry, and I sat all the time, crying, and I couldn't control my own feelings. And she had slapped me one day super hard. I hit the brick wall. I couldn't get up. And then she started banging my head against, the concrete on the porch. And, I couldn't, breathe. And finally I grabbed her hand and, told her to stop and pushed her off of me. And then that's when her husband and her daughter came and they started throwing punches at me, telling me not to touch her like that. That was the only time I ever tried to do anything.
Wow. Wow. So they had you medicated. I remember you telling me that they were telling people you were nuts.
Oh yeah, she said I wasn't right in my mind because the medication made me cuckoo, look cuckoo and act cuckoo. So If I would have saw myself then, I would have said I was crazy too. But yeah, from other people, from what they told me, they said that I look zombified. I didn't have any emotion in my face. It was like I was a zombie. I was gone. I wasn't even there. I was just a shell. And they said when I ran away, I looked like a whole different other person. I had more confidence and
Right.
looked more happier.
So you get away and you're hiding in a park. Where are you from there? What do you do? I mean, how obviously you're housed. I can see you sitting on a bed. So take us through your life since 18. What's going on? And
Well, after that, I had a friend named Priscilla and Alyssa. Alyssa let me stay with her for one night. Then Priscilla let me stay with her for one night, and then I got to stay with Alyssa for a while. And then I met I have a girl too. She's 4 years old. My boy and my girl, they have completely different dads. So her name is Nevaeh. Her dad's in prison for beating me and trying to stab me and shoot me. And then he ended up actually stabbing somebody, so he went to prison. But yeah, I met him, and then I went through the same thing, because I guess I was so used to it, I didn't know what was right.
mm-hmm.
So I got with him. He took my daughter away from me for a few months. I couldn't get her back. He wasn't on the birth certificate, but the police told me possession is 9/10 of the law, and he didn't have to give me my daughter back, even though he wasn't on the birth certificate. And he just barely met his own daughter because he wasn't at her birth either. So, and he was always cheating on me and cheating on me. So, I just wanted just to break it off smoothly, and and just keep my daughter, you know, just leave peacefully. But he wouldn't let it go.
No, they usually don't. So how you got away from him? What are you doing with yourself? You have a lot of work to do to repair all of that damage. That's a lot of trauma, and sometimes trauma just is a very difficult thing to get past without, a lot of help. How are you getting through all this? There's going to be a lot of people listening that are going to need to hear this. And, I want them to know how you are coping.
So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It still is it sometimes easy, I'm not gonna lie. Um, so I didn't know what to do with my life. Because I had my daughter. I'm a single mother now. Um, I didn't know what to do. I started working at McDonald's. I didn't know what purpose in life I had. But after a while, I'm like, hey, I can help people, talk about, how I've been through my stuff, or take care of other people, you know, because if I feel like I take care of other people, it makes me feel good inside. So, um, I was a caregiver. I was a caregiver at Daybreak, a caregiver at Rock House currently right now. My last day is tomorrow, and I start working at Right at Home in Joshua, which is also a caregiver position. I feel so good caring for other people. It makes me feel good inside, and knowing that I'm taking care of these individuals and that they're in good hands because I know I'm a good person. And it makes you know that there's good in this world, because these people, they're they're older people, and they need help. And it's just sad sometimes to hear the stories that come out of them, like their family doesn't come and visit, or so it makes me feel good that I'm there for them, because I know nobody was there for me in my time of need. So I want to show other people kindness, because I know it was never shown to me, and it makes me feel good that knowing that I'm doing that. So I feel like it's very rewarding.
And that is something that I learned And my sister and I both do that. No one was there for us to save us. So we're out to save the world. She's adopted 7 kids. We're like, can you get stop now? And me, I'm a peer support specialist, and I work for a homeless. We house homeless, and trying to save the 100 clients that I have. So it's what we do. But in the meantime, we have to stop, take a break, and save ourselves. Because if we don't save ourselves, we can't help the other people. So, what do you do for yourself?
I usually go on walks. I go on long walks, and I do see a therapist.
Okay.
I stopped seeing him for a while, but I think we're gonna start back up pretty soon, because of COVID and all. But yeah, I talked to my therapist, and just some things that he says, like, because I was so always bent over on revenge. I want to get them back. I'm gonna get them. But after a while, I'm like, if I don't ever get my peace, if I don't get my justice, that's okay, because you know what? Sooner or later, they're gonna get theirs. God's gonna, make sure they get their karma, and I just believe in that. So, let them live good right now. Let them have their nice trucks, that I probably paid for, with them taking care of me. Let them have whatever they want to have. Let them talk, and show the world how fake and good they are, because we all know it's an act, because I know that they're not, and me knowing their little secret, that's my best revenge.
Do you live close to them?
No, I actually live 2 hours away from
Great.
them. I don't ever want to see them.
Awesome. Awesome. So we have reached the end of our interview, and I always like to see if there's one thing that you would like to leave everybody with. Maybe a piece of advice or something that you didn't say, or is there something that you'd like to leave everybody with?
Don't be afraid. If you know it's right, and in your heart it's good for you, don't be afraid to go for it.
And I agree. And you know what else I have to say? You had also said to me that teachers and principal uh, said that they would lose their jobs if they told, CPS.
Yeah, they were afraid it was gonna conflict their job, and they were gonna end up getting fired or something like that if they said anything.
That's ludicrous, and I don't know the laws in Texas, but like I said to you earlier, that is definitely not the law in Ohio or New Jersey. So I would definitely check laws out in the state that you live in. And if you're a teacher, a caregiver, anything, if you see abuse on a child, please look up your local agency, call 911. Please do something to save these little babies. These children do not deserve to have these hard things being done to them. You have 2 children now, and now
Yes.
you get a chance to be a mom. And I know you said you just want to be the greatest mom you can be. And
Yes, my daughter shows me that's the greatest lesson ever that my daughter has ever shown me, because when I got pregnant, everybody was telling me nasty things, and saying that I didn't deserve to be a mom, I'm too insane, and that so my whole pregnancy was everyone put me down, making me feel like I'm not wanted, or this baby wasn't wanted. So but when I finally had that baby, though, excuse me, my baby taught me how to love, because I didn't know how to love before it, because I didn't have anyone to love me. But that baby loves me so much.
Aw, that is so precious. So, I just wanna thank you for opening up, sharing this story. You know, I know it must have been hard to go through the memory banks. Sometimes it brings it too forward for us. And but I hope it does bring some good, maybe closure by sometimes talking about it, and it helps, and it will definitely help someone out there. So you are helping other people, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
So again, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to thank all of you for listening to another episode of Your Voices of Hope. Please, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, please go to my Facebook page, Your Voices of Hope, and message me, or just go to my website, yourvoicesofhope.com, and fill out the form. But I also want everyone to know, always remember to love yourself. Have a great
You've been
day.
listening to Your Voices of Hope with your host, Michelle Beyer. This podcast and earlier programs are available for viewing on our Facebook page, Your Voices of Hope, or our website, yourvoicesofhope.com. A new podcast is uploaded and ready to view every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m.
Keep your head up, you're not alone.